On a fine day in April 1964, an ex-LMS Scott with a Nottingham Marylebone Express comes through Belgrave and Birstall station and passes a signal box. The London terminus of the former Great Central Railway, Marylebone Station in Great Central Street. In the murk of the day in May 1963, a somewhat grimy Black 5 hauls a Nottingham-bound semi-fast from the platform and threads its way over the pointwork outside the station. In May 1964, a Thompson B1 speeds past the typical platform of Charwelton with a northbound express. On the same evening, an ex-LMS Scott charges through Charwelton with a Marylebone express. On a summer Saturday evening in 1964, a Black 5 hauls a goods train southwards over the Birdcage Bridge as it crosses the Euston to Glasgow line at Rugby. Stanier Coronation Class Pacific, number 46251, City of Nottingham, resplendent in BR Crimson Lake livery, heads a rail tour southwards over Ayleston Fields, Leicestershire, in early May 1964. The same morning, a Black 5 heads a northbound parcels train past the same point. In April 1964, a Scott heads a Marylebone-bound express over Westbridge, Leicester, crossing the Grand Union Canal and the A46 trunk road. On a cold October morning in 1965, a British Railways Britannia Class 462 locomotive leaves Leicester Central Station with an express for Marylebone. In August 1966, an ex-Southern Railway West Country Class Pacific 34002 Salisbury crawls through Leicester Central Station with another Great Central Rail tour. In summer 1965, a Scott with a southbound express arrives at Leicester Central from Nottingham and departs again for Rugby and the south. Northbridge, Leicester, on a cold morning in March 1964. A Gresley V2 heads a southbound freight train over the massive girder bridge. In February 1965, a Black 5 hauls a southbound express over the low embankment alongside the, 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 The same location the following month seems the unusual but awe-inspiring sight of a British Railways 9F locomotive with an express for Nottingham. A 9F again, this time in more usual guise, hauling a northbound freight train through Abbey Lane sidings at sunrise on a cold December day in 1964. In March 1965, a Black 5 with a southbound express presents a powerful image as it thunders over the high Thurcaston Road Bridge. On a fine weekday in summer 1963, in Belgrave and Birstall signal box, the signalman pulls off to allow a Black 5 with a local train to enter the station. The train stops to pick up passengers for all stations to Nottingham. March 1965, blizzard-like conditions as early on a Saturday morning in the deep cutting just north of Belgrave and Birstall station, a Black 5 forges its way northwards with a heavy goods train. Birstall Farm Bridge. A BR Standard Class 5 approaches with a lunchtime Rugby Nottingham local train on a Saturday in late October 1965. Rothley, Leicestershire from a distance on a dull Saturday morning in February 1965, a Black 5 heads a Nottingham Marylebone Express. On a cold February day in 1965, a Black 5 leaves Loughborough Central Station with a southbound local train. Two women stand on the station front waiting for a taxi. Soon afterwards, a Black 5 approaches the station from the south with a semi-fast for Nottingham. On the last day of mainline operations on the Great Central, 3rd of September 1966, a Merchant Navy Pacific number 35030 Elder Dempster line heads a Great Central farewell rail tour northwards over the bridges that cross the St Pancras line and the main Nottingham road at Loughborough. This train ran from Waterloo to Sheffield and return. In the gloom of a December afternoon in 1963, a Black 5 with a southbound empty stock train crosses over the St Pancras line at Loughborough again. March 1965, a Black 5 on the 11 Arches Bridge over Loughborough Meadows, slowing its southbound express in anticipation of the scheduled stop at Loughborough. Nottingham Victoria Station. After waiting for its allotted departure time, a Black 5, number 45385, slowly edges away from the platforms with the Marylebone Express in September 1965. The train plunges into the consecutive tunnels below the streets of the city centre. The station front at Nottingham, Victoria, with its famous clock tower. On a busy summer Saturday in 1964, holidaymakers swarmed the platforms waiting for their respective holiday trains. A Thompson B1 pulls into the platform with a special for Skegness. Also, in the charges of a B1, a Marylebone semi-fast leaves for London on the same day. Saturday 3rd of September 1966 was the last day for both steam operations and through train operations on the Great Central. The final Nottingham to Marylebone semi-fast leaves Nottingham, Victoria at 5:15 p.m, hauled by a rather muddy-coloured Black 5 number 44984 with a wreath on the smokebox door. The train plunges into the abyss of the dark tunnel, and into the history books go 60 years of mainline operation on the Great Central. Just over 12 months later, the station was demolished to make way for a large shopping precinct. At this time, Arkwright Street Station in Nottingham was reopened to accommodate the Rugby to Nottingham commuter service that operated until May 1969. The remains of the Great Central at Belgrave and Birstall. It is hoped that this station will be brought back into commission soon by the new Great Central Railway Company to join their other stations already revived at Loughborough, Quorn and Woodhouse and Rothley.